Hi Leo, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your March 2021 love reading. Thanks to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, just check out the description of the video for more details on that. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's what I call the bridge and the gap spread. And the way it works is the cards on the left side represent your energy toward the connection with your main love interest. Cards on the right side represent their energy toward the connection. And we'll look at the past energies, present energies, future energies. Once we get through all those, we'll actually pull some oracle cards for some additional insight. That's where the bridging the gap dynamic comes into play. And as far as the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, and on the right side we have the Tarot Sexual Magic. Also keep in mind it's a general reading, so I'm going to be referring to the cards on the left as your energy and the cards on the right as the other person's. If you feel more like it's the other way around, then definitely trust that. Alright, so with all that out of the way, we'll get started. Past energy on your side, we have Sacrifice. So this is actually the equivalent of the Hangman in traditional tarot, which I usually view as Pisces energy. And for some of you, the first thing that comes to mind with this is I feel like you might feel like there wasn't a lot of balance in the connection. You might have felt like you were the one having to carry most of the weight in the situation. And there could have been on your part, maybe you were trying to look at it from a different perspective, almost trying to justify that was the dynamic. But I feel like there could have been a little bit of frustration there. That's pretty much all that comes to mind with that. And I will say, given that this is in a past position, for some of you might have really started to feel this a bit more intensely once the sun moved into Pisces, which was, a few days ago. So that's what I see there. All right, and the past energy on their side, we have Temperance. So interesting, because normally this would represent balance. But at the same time, if we look at her body language, her back is turned to the cards on this side. And also what I feel like this could be saying is that from their perspective, they might feel like they are doing their fair share, so it could be one of those things where in their mind, they feel like they are giving you that 50-50 balance, whereas you might feel like you're the one who's doing the majority of the work. So there could definitely be a bit of a disconnect there. But I will say it probably feels like the attraction is pretty heavy. And for some way, I should mention too, maybe this was some kind of a forbidden connection. And the reason I say that is because in the present position, we have Tradition. So this is actually the equivalent to the Hierophant in traditional tarot, which is Taurus energy. And in this card in particular, in this deck, we have the names Romeo and Juliet. So that could be what it is too, where there might have been, for whatever reason, some reason why this connection couldn't be out in the open. There's plenty of reasons that could be, so I'm not going to speculate on all that. But another way this could be playing out could just be saying that you guys might actually, even though you feel like the dynamics are a bit off, you might still feel like there is the potential for this to be a connection that could go in the long run. And for some of you, it could just be where maybe you feel like, if we think about the traditional roles of masculine and feminine energy, you might just feel like this person just might take it to the extreme a little bit, to where they're like, okay, it has to be this way, and the dynamics could be thrown off in that regard, but that's what I see there. Present energy on their side, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So this is actually Capricorn energy here. And for some of you, this could be someone that you work with. That's at least the possibility, and that could be why I was saying that for some of you, it could be a bit of a forbidden thing where you guys have to keep it, a bit hidden, because maybe in a workplace you're not supposed to be dating each other, things along those lines. But another way I could see this playing out too, though, could just be what I was picking up on there, where they really are just, they expect you to put in a lot of the work toward the connection, and they feel like they don't really have to contribute much on their end, could just be traditional views that they had from growing up. We see like that snowy background in the picture, and obviously she looks like she's staring in the mirror and seems a bit self-absorbed. So it could just feel like, that's the energy that they're bringing to the connection. Especially given for you guys, Capricorn is your 6th house, so you might feel like you have to always put in work toward the connection. And speaking of which, in the future position on your side, we have the Queen of Staves in reverse. So this is actually the court card for Aries, but of course this could represent your energy as well, since you're a fire sign. And maybe it's a combination of those two things, meaning that by the time we get to Aries season, some of you might decide to actually stop putting in effort toward the connection, so I feel like the desire and the passion might still be there, but you might just say, all right, well, let me see what happens in this connection if I just stop putting in the effort, right? So for some of you, it might actually be where you're just tired from doing it. And for others of you, it could just be more of like a experiment to see like, okay, so if I stop actually putting in the work that I'm doing, will this person actually realize it or not? So that's what I'm kind of picking up on there. And then the future energy on their side, we have the Five of Pentacles. So this is actually Taurus energy here. And I will say that this, for one, definitely makes me feel like if you do actually start to withdraw a bit, like, okay, they're not appreciating the work I'm putting in, they'll definitely feel it, because if we think about the traditional meaning of Five of Pentacles, that's referred to as being left out in the cold, right? So it could be one of those things where this is saying if you do withdraw the effort that you normally put in, they'll definitely notice it. But the downside of it is I feel like this is saying that they won't even act on it until like Taurus season, basically the start of Taurus season. So that would be toward the end of April, basically. So, like for example, we're going to be starting Aries season toward the end of March. That might be when you start to withdraw. It might take this person like a month before they're finally like, all right, let me come around and see what's going on with the situation. So something to keep in mind there. But at the very least, this does look like it says to me that they will realize that, oh, okay, Leo isn't putting the effort toward the connection anymore. All right, bottom of the deck on your side, we have the Eight of Staves. So this is actually Sagittarius energy here, which is your fifth house of romance, creativity, and you guys being Leos, that's the house that you guys naturally rule as well. So of course, this looks like a lot of movement, a lot of communication, right? But at the same time, like I said, it looks like you guys might feel like you've already been there, done that. And now I feel like, if anything, this is going to be you guys pulling back from doing so and seeing what the effect is there. And interestingly enough, beneath that, we have the Eight of Arrows. So the exact opposite energy, which is the Gemini side of the energy, which represents not really knowing how to move forward. Withdrawing a bit. So that's what I'm feeling there for sure. And then bottom of the deck on their side, we have the Lovers. So this is the major arcana card for Gemini. And beneath that, we have the Emperor. So similar energy there, given that this is Aries, as far as what I was saying, where I feel like for a lot of you, you guys might decide around Aries season starting up to withdraw and see, all right, are they going to pick up on that and put in the work or what? And then if that's the case, to me, this says that during Aries season, this is going to be the position they're in, totally oblivious and still expecting you to come in and do the work. And then, like I said, maybe by the start of Taurus season, which would be toward the end of April, they'll actually be like, okay, well, now I have to do something about it. So interesting. They definitely just have like a high maintenance vibe to them. So I don't know. Hopefully that resonated with you, though. All right, so next we'll see if we get anything from Aqua Moonlight deck here. And I did pre-shuffle this deck before we started recording, but what I'm going to be looking for is just some jumpers for unspoken messages from you to them, and then from them to you. And if I shuffle for a while without anything coming up, then I'll just actually move on to the next Oracle deck, but sometimes we get additional messages here too. Oh, got one there, and next we'll see if we get any from them to you. Oh, okay, got two. So let's see what we got on your side. Making a mess over here. All right, so we have Ring, I Promise You. So interesting. I mean, I will say that's kind of the energy of the tradition card in the present. So, I mean, maybe some of you really are getting to that point with this person where you do want to take it to that next level with them. But then I feel like I said, that just definitely seems like there's some withdrawing energy. So maybe it's one of those things where you're getting there, right? So maybe it's not as major of an issue as what it seems like, as far as, you could be on the brink, but you're like, okay, but let me see, does this person actually appreciate me? You know what I mean? So you're like, let me see if I actually do stop to put in the level of effort that I normally do. Would this person actually acknowledge that and step up? So it could be one of those things where you're kind of testing it a little bit, but definitely interesting there. All right, and on their side, we have 2. Okay, so first we have jealousy. It says, I feel like you've moved on without me, and that's difficult for me to see. Well, interesting. That definitely seems to point to what I was saying with the future energy between the two of you, where it seems like you're going to withdraw for a bit. And then, like I said, it might take them pretty much close to a month for it to finally kick in. But that's definitely what I felt there, where they might feel a little bit left out. And letter says, I will be writing you a message. So as far as communication goes, that might be actually how you end up hearing from this person eventually. You know, like I said, it might take them a while where they're just sitting there like, what happened to Leo? And then they might actually finally communicate to you guys that way. But hopefully that resonated. All right. And lastly, we'll pull a card from the Wisdom of the Oracle. And same situation here as far as I did pre-shuffle this deck as well, but I'm just looking for one card here with general advice to wrap up with. All right, I'll give it a few more shuffles. Oh, got one. But half the deck fell too, so we'll keep that one, and then we'll pull one more just in case, because that was kind of weird. But give me a second. All right. So yeah, like I said, clear the energy of the deck real quick, and I'll shuffle a little more. But we'll definitely keep that one because it did seem to come out, but then like the rest of the deck decided to go overboard. So just in case, we'll pull another one. All right, so let me put the deck down. Tune in for a second. We'll pull a second card and we'll read that one first. Okay, put this one here. All right, so first we have Never Ending Story. There's the artwork, and the number is 37. So we'll see what that has to say. Okay, it says self-criticism, the wounded ego, unnecessary dramas. The Oracle's message. There is a story woven through the imperfect fabric of life that tells of hurt and loss, rejection and humiliation, self-loathing and arrogance, and all manner of suffering born of unnecessary dramas. It is the old story whose refrain is that you cannot do this, must not go there, should not say that, lest your world come crumbling down. Today, know that none of this is actually true. The sky is not falling. The voice you hear is just a small, scared, conditioned part of you that got stuck in a lie, wants to protect you, and needs to be seen as a victim. Love that lost piece of you. Fear is all it knows. Distorted guidance is preventing you, from being being true to yourself. You are not your story, and the narrator is simply the voice of your fearful part, small and vulnerable and easily soothed. So, interesting, interesting message there. I don't necessarily feel like it vibes really heavy with what we were seeing in the spread, but hopefully it resonated with some of you. Then a relationship message says, sometimes your heart enters into a contract with another that results in pain. not because of abuse or neglect, but for other, more complex reasons. Shame, fear of intimacy, and low self-esteem are the greatest challenges to the success of a relationship. Consider how valuable this knowledge is, however. Right now, you have an opportunity for important healing, but you must reflect on the stories that you weave about love, connection, abandonment, rejection, and loneliness. Not only do you need to begin a new story, you need to forgive yourself for telling yourself the old ones. Have compassion for the part of you that believes all those narratives. None of them were ever true anyway. So, an interesting message there as far as the dynamics to where what that could be saying is for those of you who maybe are giving a lot in the connection, right? And then you might actually get to that point where you question, well, is that the only reason that this person is with me? Because of all the things I do for them, right? And then for some of you, that might be why you might withdraw a bit to see, like, okay, is this person going to step up if I decide that I can't be the one contributing this much to the connection all the time? And like I said, if that's the case, it looks like it'll take them a while, but they most likely will come around. So hopefully that resonated with you. And then the second card we have is co-create. There's the artwork, and the number is 40. Okay, it says creativity, art, inspiration, fruition, manifestation. The Oracle's message. You may not consider yourself a creative person, but in fact you are creating your reality every moment of every day via your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, intentions, and actions. Yet you must consider that you do so in partnership with spirit, consciousness, God, or whatever name you call your higher power. You are a spark of this intelligence that works through you, nudging you with inspired thought and intuitive guidance. You are a paintbrush that co-creates a beautiful, unique expression of your own individuality, blended with universal spirit. You are a product of divine inspiration, and now you're aligned with it to create miracles. When you view your life as art and know you co-create it, only beauty and grace result. Prepare to be amazed. So, interesting message there. Hopefully that resonated with you as well. And then with the relationship message, it says connections of the heart serve to inspire you, opening you up to new ideas you would never have come to on your own. You are looking in the mirror held up by this experience and seeing yourself in an unexpected way. Who is this extraordinary being looking back at you? You are going to be so happy that you kept the heart open. Your love is a unique work of art now, the very embodiment of beauty. And lastly, I'll read you guys the protection message for this one as well. So let's see. It says, you are trying too hard to create all that you desire without the nurturing, vital force of spirit. Perhaps you are in a creative slump, suffering writer's block, facing a monumental task, but unable to decide on your first step, so you just avoid doing anything. Does the word overwhelmed apply to you right now? Why do you think it all has to come down to you? Inspiration means the drawing in of divine guidance. You must tap into spirit, not simply yourself. Ask spirit for inspiration. Two minds are greater than one, so co-create with your divine partner. Reclaim your partnership with spirit. Inspiration will flow through you as you get out of your own way. So yeah, I mean, primarily I feel like what these messages are pointing to more than anything is that, it definitely is possible that you guys are putting in way more work toward the connection than the other person. If that's the case, it could just be saying, maybe reevaluate that. And then, yeah, maybe you do need to withdraw a bit, right? And see if the other person would be willing to step up. So, hopefully that resonated with you guys. I'll wrap up there and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.